Welcome to Thrust, the Dance Made in Canada podcast. This season, we are investigating the call and response that dance has within our society. We will talk about emergent and urgent themes guiding innovation in our field. These episodes will look at navigating change, academia, cognitive research, and intimacy within dance. Let's tune into what's happening now. Today, I'm speaking with Anisa Tejpar, Independent Intimacy Coordinator and Director, who has worked with large organizations like the National Ballet of Canada and Ballet BC to smaller independent companies and in film. She currently teaches consent and boundaries for dance at Toronto Metropolitan University, where she champions collaborative and consent-based creative practices. Anisa is co-artistic director of Hit and Run Dance Productions and associate producer with Cote Dance, supporting the creation, development, and touring of new works. Hello. So for our audience that doesn't necessarily know what an intimacy practice is, it was formalized in 2017 out of the #MeToo movement. And we have intimacy coordination in film, intimacy direction in theater, intimacy choreography that kind of exists in all of those spheres. And then we have intimacy professional as a sort of like umbrella hat. I feel like I always get asked this question, so I feel like I have to ask it of you. But what does an intimacy professional do? And how does it change a room to have an intimacy professional there?
Wow, we started big.
We got to go big.
To go
intimate.
In my mind, there are three prongs to the job if we're talking about it as a job. Number one is supporting the artists who are embodying the moments of intimacy. And that can be anything from like their needs, big or small, their requests, big or small, but also navigating between them and the production, what exactly it is that we're doing, consenting to, contracted to do, and supporting kind of all of the teams around that and how that kind of implicates things. Yeah. That's a very broad thing I just said.
Yeah.
We can dig into it, but prong one. Prong two would be communicating with departments. Yep. So from the producers, the choreographers, if it's dance, the ADs or the assistant directors, if it's film, all the way to like the legal department and the costumes department and the props department, just making sure that everybody knows exactly what's happening and what's going to happen in these moments of intimate content. Third, so that's communicative. It's really like HRE, but not HR at all.
No.
Third prong is supporting with choreography. Yeah. So depending on what the script says or what the choreographer desires or what the raison d'etre of the thing, like what are we doing, and supporting the director to be able to get what they're looking for out of the story. Yeah. Sometimes you get to flex that muscle a lot, and sometimes you get to flex it a little, but always having that tool in your toolkit is really important. So that's really what it does. What an intimacy professional does in a room changes from room to room.
Absolutely.
There are no two rehearsals that are the same, and we all know this as like art makers. Yeah. There are no two projects that are the same. There are no two scripts that are the same. Productions, vibe of room, vibe of whole production. If you're working on an episodic, sometimes there's different directors coming in every 2 episodes. So it's different every time. But what I would offer is that an intimacy professional creates a container in which everyone knows what the play space is and then can play freely.
How did you make your way into intimacy? What was that journey like?
I actually want to hear yours too, but
sure.
I'm a dancer.
What?
I know. Surprise, shocker. So, did that. Really did that. Yeah. But I guess really young, even in like school, I was always like good with steps and good with counts and good with like leading the group in that way. And so very easily I had like a leadership role in like the room in general. Yeah. And then as I got older, like rehearsal direction came really easily to me, and I continue to do it. I still do it a lot. And I really like it. I enjoy it. I like that, like, dynamic of like, what are we doing? Yeah. And because of that, then I ended up movement directing for film and TV, and of course, because if you're a movement director, you're not on, they don't offer those contracts to like every film. So I got like sci-fi and things that I don't watch actually, and video games, many video games, performing in motion capture, outfit, choreographing that. It was so fun. But while I was movement directing on set, once I got a request to do intimacy in space with zero gravity.
Whoa.
So there was like humans holding other people up with like harnesses and stuff. And I was like, this is insane. And very quickly, like in my mind, I was like, yeah, I can totally do that. It's movement. I know how to do that. Totally fine. But very quickly, I realized that I did not have enough information, because when you layer on a story of intimacy, a touch on the shoulder, a touch on the hand, a touch on the face means something different. Yes. And it means something different from the people who are performing it. And I hadn't totally considered that. And this is like a decade ago.
Yeah.
But it really took me going, oi, I need to learn more about that before I try that again.
Yeah.
And then taking some like online courses about consent and boundaries and just kind of informing myself. So by the time the pandemic completed its journey, I had way more information and was able to kind of support rooms and places and things, and all of my skills kind of came into one, because so much, people don't know this, but so much of being an intimacy professional is paperwork.
Yeah. Yep. A lot of riders.
And navigating really challenging conversations with people who are way up on the hierarchy from you.
Yeah.
And so you kind of need some strength of character to pull it off. And you kind of need to be at a certain point in your journey as a human artist, woman, person to be able to hold the torch of it. It's not easy to do.
Dance. You're like, there's a listening, responding, expanding, contracting.
What does the room need? What version of myself am I giving? What version of myself does this person need to hear from?
Yeah.
How do I get out of them what I know is there in performance and see it to fruition within the boundaries of what the director would like? And how can I flex that muscle for myself? So there's, I can't imagine doing this work 20 years ago. I wouldn't have been ready. I feel like it took all of those phases and steps and jobs to kind of get to a place where I was like, okay, I can stand on my own 2 feet and rely on my general expertise and all of these things, but then narrow focus into what is exactly needed for me in the moment.
Yeah. As you said, there aren't a lot of people that come at it specifically from a dance lens. And I'm curious if you can pinpoint the different needs that dance has in this realm of being an intimacy professional.
That's a great question, because I actually think that dance is really challenging in this world, because we live in a world of implied consent all the time.
Absolutely. And we're comfortable with physical contact in a different way.
And you have at-will access to everyone's bodies.
Yeah.
And they have that with yours. I mean, you'll meet someone in an audition.
Yeah.
And be like, hey, I'm Anisa. I'm about to launch my body onto yours with all the trust in the world.
Yeah.
So we've been taught that we're good with that, actually. And it's one of my favorite things about dance is that we're in it together, and there is this immediate community feeling, and that there's like natural trust, human to human. Yeah. So when that kind of shifts is when we are in content that has an idea, a story, a concept, a theme that then may bring out a like spidey sense of like this feels different.
Yes.
So, but I think it's different across the sector in that, I do some work for the National Ballet of Canada. There, it's like super story. It's like Romeo and Juliet. Like take a play, make it a ballet. Like really super story. But then like I'll work on a more like contemporary dance work that maybe doesn't have a story, but everyone's appearing nude.
Yeah.
So that's a different container.
Yeah.
And they're touching each other, but then we're talking more about like, where are we touching each other? How are we touching each other?
And what is the context? Like, are we trees blowing in the wind touching each other?
Or are we telling a story of love or hate or whatever?
Yeah.
And so I think it is different depending on where it is. And it's different by medium. There are some mediums that are by definition more conservative.
Yeah.
Like especially some cultural dance.
Yeah, for sure.
Where like people of opposite sex don't touch each other ever.
Yeah.
And now they would like to do that maybe in this new work that they're creating, yada, yada.
Yeah.
So enter someone like me to kind of give foundational tools about that. So it really is, again, every room is different. Every situation is different. But in dance, there's like this other layer of like, a lot of the time, like, we're good, we already do this, But it's not that. It really is different. I also always think about this, especially in like large company organizations, is that there's a deep hierarchy in that.
Yeah.
And there are many ages within the artists. Yeah. Sometimes there are like people well into their 40s and people who are like not even 20 yet.
Yeah.
There's really different experience levels. Some people are in their first year in the company and some people are in their 25th. That really gives you a huge span. And not that those people are generally partnered together. They aren't. But they're in the same rooms navigating the same information. So sometimes a translator in there is helpful. And then also something that I always bring up is that there's pay inequity within those people. So this person's getting paid for the same job more than this person. So those are things that like maybe we're not consciously thinking about all the time, but they're in there.
Yeah.
So they change our work environment.
Yeah.
And they change how we see what we're doing every day. And then you flip into like another world where sometimes it's not everyone's full-time job to be a dancer.
For sure.
Right?
Yeah.
So they're coming in like, 4 to 7 for a period of time to make this work for with their colleagues or their friends or whatever. Yeah. And they're like, whoa, at my other job, I don't touch anybody, you know? So it really runs the gamut, which is makes the job very exciting. But also you really have to listen to your room.
What sort of gifts you think intimacy has to offer our profession?
Oh, Aria, you're kidding. I want to hear your response to this too.
I haven't thought about it.
I do. Great. I actually do think it allows us to push storytelling further. And I think there's like a misconception sometimes that people in our job are like the sex police.
Right. Yeah.
We're stopping creativity. We're stopping free flow of energy. We're stopping people from like telling sexy stories.
Yeah.
I don't think there are any people in the world who like sexy stories more than intimacy professionals.
It's
I said
true.
It. We love it.
It's so true.
Every one of us loves it. Like we want to go there. So I feel like having someone like us on board, the gift is that then more things become like obvious.
Yeah.
And that actually by including us in processes, we can actually push the boundaries further without fear.
Yeah.
And without like, I think people also fear, and not without reason. They fear repercussions of telling stories that, that people are going to like scold them or social media is going to become their enemy or they'll get canceled. And I think there is fear of that. And I understand why, especially when we're talking about like male creators.
Yep.
And I hear the fear in my work life all the time from directors and from choreographers being like, well, I don't want to, but having someone like us there sometimes is the buffer to be able to broach these conversations in a way that is like, putting the artist and care in the center.
Yeah.
And then going from there and seeing what is possible without pre-answering for anything or anyone.
Dance lovers, Emergent Festival is coming to Toronto this November. If you've been sleeping on the genius of the African diaspora, on Canadian dance, or on the growing excellence of dance immersion, it's time to wake up. From November 8th to 22nd, Immersion Festival will bring together dance, music, spoken word, imagery, and community in a powerful celebration of African diasporic culture and creativity. The festival showcases Black Canadian excellence across generations through performances, educational talks, networking opportunities, and shared experiences. For more than 30 years, Dance Immersion has worked to bring out the best of each individual and what makes each of us special. Every day of the festival will bring new experiences, new perspectives, and unforgettable moments. Don't miss Immersion Festival, November 8th to 22nd at the Betty Oliphant Theatre. Get your tickets at danceimmersion.ca.
Having this information at their fingertips, do you feel like, have you seen a change in like classes and generations of artists that you've engaged with, because you've engaged with so many over the years?
I mean, what's been so interesting is witnessing the shift that the pandemic had on art in academia. Okay. I think that I saw a generation come into university a little bit afraid of touch in a way that was social and global, that there was a different connecting point that we had to being back in a space where our bodies are intertwined and it feels good and it's okay and it's safe, and we've all said Yes. And like working through that and how intimacy can help us practice that. I think I hear students say, I'm okay, but I'm worried about overstepping someone else's boundaries. And being able to offer the sort of like the pleasure of being able to talk about those fears together and to reintegrate touch in a way that is based in consent and care has given me hope for, I think, a really dark time for our industry. I mean, I'd love to hear about the consent and boundaries course that you teach. And I also know that you facilitate workshops for faculty members as well.
Yeah. It's been an interesting process because obviously it's like the first time they're doing it. So you can't come in guns a-blazing. But I think with the faculty, my focus is really just them understanding what the students are learning.
Great.
So that then they can understand when the language is reflected back at them what they're saying.
Yes.
So that it's not like shocking. Like, what are we talking about, Anisa? You know,
what words are those?
Yeah, what are these words? But with the young dancers or with like the first years, you know, they just were in high school 10 seconds ago. So it's wonderful to catch them at that time.
Yeah.
They don't know who they are yet as artists. They think they know. You know, I always make this joke that like where you were the best. And now you're all the best at the same time, which is a very different energetic vibe than most of them are used to.
Yeah.
So there's a lot to navigate. There's like different power dynamics. They're living on their own, some of them for the first time. There's so much going on. So it's a wonderful time to meet them. I mean, I get a kick out of it as someone who has a teenager. Of my own, but then seeing their evolution into second year, and by the time I get them again, they're like very different in the most beautiful way, and it's nice to be a part of that journey and that like seed that is planted before their frontal lobe is closed.
Yeah.
So that then it closes with that information inside of it. Because like you, like I spent many years saying yes without any information, really. Like a non-informed yes.
Yeah.
I really did. So I focus a lot on like, what are we saying yes to?
Yeah. But it's interesting to think about that in terms of dance, because it's not a field that has a practice of hiring intimacy coordinators.
At all.
Yeah.
And that there's one reason for that, I think. Well, obviously, dance is always last.
Yeah. Is that your one reason?
No. My one reason is budget.
Yeah, absolutely.
Dance is underfunded. We all know this. This is not a shocker.
Straight to the lens.
I know, into the lens. Not a shocker. We know this. It's the least funded and the least supported and the least viewed art form in the performing arts. And that is a big shame. But that's the main reason why folks like us aren't included more is because there isn't a budget line for us.
I think about the different jobs that I've had. And for me, some of the most challenging moments have been the most fulfilling projects that I've been a part of because you move through something or you really support somebody that needed support. But I'm curious if you have a challenge or a success story that you can share without breaching confidentiality for anyone.
I can tell a success story.
Okay.
I was on a episodic show a few years ago that had many drifting directors.
Yeah.
Many directors, which is a challenge in episodic filmmaking because what works in one episode doesn't work in the next. And you have your dynamic with the cast, and the cast has their dynamic with, their support staff. So like whatever, their ADs, their wardrobe people, whatever. And then a new director will come in and kind of sometimes tousle that dynamic. And so, for me, I feel like I have to like care for the dynamic no matter what.
Yes.
So we had a rehearsal and of course in the rehearsal, the director is present. And it's their vision for how they see the script playing out. I had read it. I knew exactly what was going to happen. I'd spoken with the actors. They knew what was going to happen. I had done their writers. They were ready to go. And the director really wanted to see everything very full out, very quickly. And I could feel that was not going to happen. But there was insistence, and I advocated for the actors in a way that went against every yes in my body. It was very hard. And I actually asked for the director to step out of the room with me, which is not done. Yeah. It's really hierarchical in those situations. But in the end, after everything was said and done, and I got in my car and could feel the wetness of sweat under the clothing I was wearing, the director called me. I saw their number on my phone. I was like, I'm going to get it between the eyes right now. And actually, they called to thank me.
Wow.
To say, you really saved what could have been a very bad few weeks for me.
Yeah.
Because I now need to work with them for this time. And you stopped me, and it was the right thing to do. And I don't want you to feel bad about it.
Yeah.
And I was like, must call everybody I've ever met in my entire life and tell them this story. Must leave multiple voice notes.
Yeah.
And I hate voice notes. But anyways.
Noted.
Yeah, I'm so not a voice note person. But it was like like I struggle with my own no still.
For sure. It's the hardest thing.
It is so hard, Arya.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to cry thinking about it. Like, it's really hard. And I am trying to advocate other people's no's. And in that moment, I really was able to, and I felt really proud of myself for that.
My final question is, across all of the things that you do, why do you find yourself returning to the live performing arts so often?
It's who I am, without question. I'm going to cry now for sure. There is nothing like being in the audience when something is happening in front of you, and that only the 520, whatever audience capacity it is, people in that room see it in this version. It happens one time. And that's the only time that you're going to see it like that, with the mistakes and the flaws and the perfection and the air in the room, the candy wrapper, everything. I love all media, but live performance is a drug. Yeah, for me.
Well, with that...
Oh, God, what an ending.
Thanks for tuning into Thrust, the Dance Made in Canada podcast. Thrust is presented by Dance Made in Canada Fête au Canada Festival, a biennial dance festival featuring dance artists from across Turtle Island with unique artistic visions from diverse backgrounds. We acknowledge that this land, colonially known as Canada, has been the site of dance for many millennia. We are grateful for the ability to dance and celebrate on Turtle Island. Thrust is produced by Mayumi Lashbrook with Taylor Zalek Young, audio engineer and composer Jamar Powell, video editor Drew Barry, sound engineer Chris Dupuis at 1990 Studios, and cover photography by Marlo Porter. And I'm your host, Arya Evans. Thank you to our funders, Canadian Heritage, the Canada Council for the Arts, Ontario Arts Council, and Toronto Arts Council. And a shout out to Delta Bingo and our individual donors. We couldn't do this without their constant support. Find us wherever you get your podcasts, and don't forget to rate and review.